Hey Fae folk, welcome and welcome back to a little bonus video. I did not expect to be filming this today, but one of you guys commented and said I should make this video, and I had to jump on it immediately because it was such an excellent idea. So the Doll Awards for 2024 did just go up, and if you're not aware, I was lucky enough to be a presenter this year, which I still can't believe that I get to say. Like, that's so surreal to me, and I'm so honored that I got to be a part of it. But one of you guys commented and was like, hey, you should go over like who won in each category and who you think should have won in each category. You know who you are. Huge shout out to you, because that is an excellent concept for a video. So that is what we're going to be doing today. If you haven't seen the Doll Awards for 2024, I will link into the card. I encourage you to go watch the entire video, because I am going to go over the categories and the nominees and everything so that I can tell you who won versus who I think should have won. But it's definitely not the same level of production as the actual full awards video. So definitely go check that out first and then pop on back over here to get more of my unsolicited opinions. Key thing there, of course, is that these are just my opinions. So if you disagree, it's totally chill, especially the winners for each category are chosen based on votes. So you vote on Instagram who you think should win, and obviously whoever gets the most votes in a given category is the winner. And I do disagree on some of these. There are some where I'm like, oh, I wish this would have won instead of this. So obviously some of y'all are gonna not share my opinion, and that's totally chill. It's not a big deal. It's just let's all be friends about it in the comments. But let's go ahead and just jump right on in. I wrote everything down because there was absolutely no way I was going to remember all of this. So pardon me if I'm glancing at my phone a lot. Again, there was absolutely no way that I was going to remember all of this. I also do want to say that these are the Doll Awards 2024, but there is a cutoff point. I don't remember exactly what it is. But so for example, the Fang Vote Genifier doll, that's not a nominee in any of the categories because the doll hadn't shipped out by the time that the nominations kind of closed off, if that makes sense. So even though it is 2024, it doesn't technically go up all the way until December 31st. December has 31 days. Not me immediately doubting myself, but you know what I'm saying? It doesn't go up through the end of December. It's to the cutoff point. So there are going to be some dolls that maybe aren't featured here that you think should have been, or dolls that technically were from the very, very tail end of last year that are included in this year's Doll Awards. So that's why there's that slight discrepancy. I just wanted to clarify that. But the first category that we are going to be taking a look at is the best doll under $20. And the nominations were the Magic Mixies Pixlings, the Barbie Dream Besties, Barbie Fashionistas, the Budget Monster High dolls, and then some of the cheaper Disney ILY Forever dolls. I don't know if they're technically budget dolls, but some of them are definitely over $20, but some of them are under $20. And so they were nominated there. And so the ones that won were the Budget Monster High dolls, which I do get. And I think that was probably my second choice, just because I personally don't love most of the budget dolls, but I do see objectively that they are nice dolls, especially when you compare to other budget dolls, the G3 Monster High budget dolls are pretty darn nice, but the Pixlings are on there. So of course I would have wanted the Pixlings to win, and I voted for the Pixlings to win. They did not, alas. My little baby beauties did not win, but I do think that they're so cute. Y'all know that I have a huge love for the Pixlings, so would have been cool to see them win this category, but I'm not mad about Monster High winning because, again, I get it. I do think those are also a great option. I just like the Pixlings a little bit more. Then the next category was the best surprise toy, and the nominees were the Barbie Land Minis, the Magic Mixies Pixlings, Miniverse, Mini Brands, and then Bratz Minis. And so this one is funny. I should have said spoiler alert. I mean, I encouraged you guys to go watch the video. But yeah, in case you haven't seen it, in case you ignored my encouragement, I'm obviously spoiling who won. Anyway, the Pixlings did win this category, and you'd think that I'd be thrilled because my babies are getting recognition. And I am, I definitely like that. I think to me, the Pixlings just aren't on the same level of surprise toy as the other categories here. Obviously there are ones that are more of a surprise, but it tends to be when they do the lines, it's oh, it's going to be one of these $3 or one of these $2. It's not a vast pool of toys that you might get when you're grabbing one. It's a very small number of options, and other ones are just out and out labeled where you can see exactly what you're going to be getting. Not like they have blind packaging, but like the packaging has the exact image of the doll on it. So I don't know if maybe that's what influenced me, but I personally would have wanted to see the Barbie Land mini dolls win just because one of, or well, not one of you, several of you guys pointed this out to me because I was like a little confused about kind of the point of these, and especially like there's like mini play sets and everything, and I just didn't understand it. But some of you guys were like, oh no, I like them because they're like dolls for my dolls. And ever since y'all said that to me, it has just absolutely clicked. I've contemplated getting some of the Barbie minis specifically because of that now, because thinking about it not as like a mini toy for myself but as dolls for my dolls is so unbelievably cute. Like that concept is just so precious to me. So after hearing that, I personally would have liked to have seen them win just because I think it's absolutely adorable, but I'm not mad that the Pixlings won. Next category was Best Doll Packaging. So the nominees were Vampire Heart Draculaura, the Bratz Mean Girls dolls, the Barbie, I was it 65th anniversary doll? I don't remember. I'm so sorry. The Dead Fast SDCC Ghoulia, and then the Wednesday collab dolls, not these collectors, but the like kind of slightly more playline slash medium collector level, the ones that were like available in retail stores from the Wednesday show, not from like the Addams Family overarching. I hope that makes sense. Y'all know it's not the Skeletor one. So out of those, the one that won was the Bratz Mean Girls dolls, and I do totally understand. I will say I'm slightly surprised that so many people voted for these just in light of how dramatic that release was, because I feel like some people really got turned off from everything to do with those dolls because of how badly Bratz butchered the release. But objectively, they do have really cool packaging. Like I do understand that. So while I'm like maybe slightly surprised that they got the votes because I feel like people might have just been angry and like not voted for them out of spite, I do get it. Personally, I would have voted for Vampire Heart Draculaura just because like I can't stop singing the praises of that doll. I think she's unreal. She's one of very few dolls in my collection that I like salvaged most of her packaging so that I could use it to display her because I think it was so pretty. So yeah, for me personally, I would have gone with Vampire Heart Draculaura, but I do get like the Mean Girls definitely do have a cool packaging. And if you're someone who's a huge Mean Girls fan, of course you're going to love that. Of course that's going to like really call to you. So I understand why it won. I'm not angry. We haven't hit one that I'm angry about. I don't know if we're going to. But yeah, like this is a vibe. I understand it. It's chill. Not what I would have picked, but it's okay. Then the next category was the best doll under 9 inches. So the nominees were once again the Magic Mixies Pixlings, Rainbow High Littles, the LOL Tweens, Rainbow Bright Dolls, and then Decora Girls. I'm so sorry because this is not relevant to like the overall concept of this video. I cannot believe that the Rainbow High Littles even got nominated for this category. I think that is wild. I'm so sorry. Like obviously if you love them, you're allowed to love them and I'm glad that you're happy that they exist, but I would burn all of those ugly little dolls. I hate them so much. I like I just think they're genuinely terrible. So I'm really surprised they even got so far as being nominated, but they were not the winners, thankfully to me. The winners were the LOL Tweens, and I understand I'm slightly miffed about this one. I personally would have picked the Pixlings, which like I've already demonstrated my bias for them. I've already talked about my bias for them. Of course I would have picked them. I think my thing with the Tweens is that in years past, I absolutely think that they would have deserved this award, and I do think that I don't remember if it was like this award exactly, but I know that they've won categories in years past. And I definitely think that that would have been something that they deserved. But I think the more recent lines of the Tweens, like the last few that we got, were really quite lackluster. Especially that latest one, like the inflatable nonsense. That it's terrible to me. Again, like obviously you're allowed to like it. But for me, I just think that the latest Tweens, like especially, I mean, this is the 2024 Doll Awards. I feel like the Tweens that we got in 2024 did not deserve this award. As a whole, there have definitely been tween dolls that deserved to be highlighted here and deserve to like win an award for this category because I think they have made some amazing dolls. But the ones that we saw this year, I cannot believe that they won. So I wouldn't say I'm angry. I am surprised and I disagree, but that's okay. I'll live. Then to follow that up immediately, we have the best 9 to 12 inch doll, so like kind of the more standard fashion doll size. And the nominees were just kind of broad brands, honestly. So we had Monster High, Bratz, Barbie, the Descendants dolls, and then Disney ILY Forever. And y'all already know I would want Monster High to win. And guess what? They did. I'm always going to be a Monster High lover. They started me doll collecting, so they're always going to have a special place in my heart. So obviously, I think that they are the ones who deserve to win the most. I think that if I had to pick like a second favorite, personally, oh gosh, this is hard. Because like I'm definitely entering my Barbie era. There are a lot of like Barbie things that are exciting me right now, but I also kind of feel like even though they're supposed to be at odds with each other, I'm kind of entering my Bratz era, and I'm really like appreciating Bratz lately. So one of those two I think would have been my second pick, but ultimately I'm so glad that Monster High won because like they definitely deserve it. Next up, we have the category that I presented, which was Best Doll Series in a Doll Line. So the nominees were the Monster High Brand Boo Students, the Monster High Core Refresh, the Monster High Monster Fest dolls, lots of Monster High nominations. Then we had Barbie Looks and also Rainbow High Sparkle and Shine. And the winners were the Monster High Brand Boo Students, which like I definitely agree with. I think in my heart and in my head, the Core Refresh and then the Brand Boo Students were like literally exactly tied. Either one of these could have won and I would have been super happy, but I'm so glad that one of them won just because like the Brand Boo Students lineup counted Venus, Caddy, and then Spectra. They're like G3 dolls. And I think those dolls were so amazing and so lovely. And Venus and Caddy especially added so much like diversity to the Monster High lineup that I think it was so beautiful like for them to get made. And so for them to get recognized, I think was also really lovely. Would have been super happy to see Core Refresh win as well because those dolls were unbelievable to me. Honestly, all of these I think were really, really solid nominations. This was like a in my head a close race. I don't actually know what the exact numbers were, but I think these were all really solid. I'm really happy with who won though. And I'm not just saying that because I'm biased because I presented. I'm going to have to hurry up. We've got so many categories to go through still, and I'm yapping away. So the next one was Best New Doll Line, and the nominees were the Descendants dolls, Yummy Land, the Barbie Dream Besties, the Decora Girls, and then the Unicorn Academy dolls. The Barbie Dream Besties did win, which I do understand. I feel like those dolls, a lot of people were really, really excited for them to come out. I kind of fizzled. Like I was like interested in them. And then we got the Barbie Deluxe style dolls and I was immediately like, oh, I prefer those for sure. Like in this kind of because I feel like both of them are sort of spiritual successors to the Barbie extras. They're both kind of it feels like Barbie's answer to those dolls no longer being produced. And I prefer the deluxe style dolls for sure compared to the Dream Besties. But I do think a lot of people love them, and rightfully so. I do think, especially the two new ones that came out, like they're going good places with that line. So I understand why it won. I personally think that, honestly, I wasn't super excited about any of these. I don't own any of these actually. I wanted to get a Yummy Land doll, but I never could find the one that I wanted. And now at this point, I like don't even want it because I only really care about the little lip gloss ones. Like I don't like the big ones. I like the little ones, but I could never find the Watermelon Girl in stores. And now I'm just like, okay, well, I guess I'm just not going to bother. So I don't have any of these. So maybe my opinion is like, it's definitely not as strong. Maybe it doesn't matter as much, but I would have said Yummy Land just because I do think that the little ones are super, super cute. Even if I don't have any, I think that they're adorable design wise. But I fully understand why Dream Besties won. So like, I'm not butthurt about it. Alrighty, then we have the best collector doll, which again, like I feel like this category especially is where you need to keep in mind the fact that it's not like the calendar year necessarily that they're going off of. So we have the Premier Gala Barbie, Vampire Heart Draculaura, Gulia's Dead Fast doll from the SDCC. From the SDCC, why did I say it like, y'all know what I mean. The Wednesday Skeletor dolls this time, and then the Nightmare Before Christmas Skeletor dolls. And the Vampire Heart Draculaura was the doll who won, which like super love that. I definitely wanted her to win. I will say that I think the Premier Gala Barbie almost was one that I feel like could have usurped her. And honestly, a lot of that I think is maybe just because she's newer, so she's like more in my mind versus the Vampire Heart Draculaura. Because looking at the two, Vampire Heart is obviously more exciting, and I personally love her more. I mean, I have her. I'm looking at her right now, and I didn't get the Premier Gala Barbie, but I do feel like something about that Premier Gala Barbie release was like a cultural reset within the Barbie collecting world. Like that just felt like that started off the kind of trend of Barbiecore becoming a thing with the releases again. So maybe that's why I feel like she was a strong contender, is just because I feel like even though a lot of things on the doll are kind of relatively simple, she felt like a full reset. Like it felt like somebody pressed the reset button and suddenly Barbie got really interesting to me again. So she would have been cool to see to win. But I mean, realistically speaking, Vampire Dracula definitely deserved this one, and I am very happy that she got it. Okay, I've been dreading this one only because I don't know how to pronounce these words. So I'm sorry, okay? I cannot say these things. This was the best doll clothing shop category, which is a super cool category. I love like that the Doll Awards were highlighting this and like kind of highlighting creative people within the space. I just think that was cool. So the the nominations were Haute Couture, Atelier. I don't know how to say it. I'm so sorry. Melody Panic Creations, Mags Bella, Barbie Boulevard. I'm so sorry. And then Dolls with Love. If you watch their video, they have like all of the ats and everything and like places where you can find these creators. So like again, please do watch the full Doll Awards video so that you can like actually know what I'm talking about because I truly cannot pronounce these names. I'm unfamiliar with every single one of these except for Haute Couture. And so like they did end up winning, but I don't really feel like I can give what I would have wanted to see just because I genuinely did not know who any of these other people were until the Doll Awards. So like now I'm gonna look and I'm like kind of curious. But it's just because I don't have an informed opinion. I had to include this because otherwise it would not be a complete video. But yeah, I don't really have any thoughts on this one. So on to the next category. And that was the best celebrity doll. So we had the Wicked Deluxe Galinda doll, so like Ariana Grande. We had the Trixie Mattel Integrity dolls. I couldn't think of that. I couldn't think of that name for a second. We had Mary Kate and Ashley, which I was really confused about. I don't know what was up with that. We have the Monster High RuPaul doll and then the Elvira Skeletor doll. And the one that won was Elvira, which like I can definitely see. I think that that's kind of a vibe. Personally, I think I would have just barely voted for the Trixie Mattel doll. Just this is another one where I don't really have strong opinions. Like I don't feel like I'm super tied up in celebrity culture. Not like that that's a bad thing if you are. I just feel like I don't care as much as some people do. And I'm not familiar realistically with like most of these people. I just every once in a while see Trixie Mattel clips pop up on TikTok and she's funny. So like even though I don't know anything about drag, I do think that she's funny, so that's why I would have like wanted to see her win. But I understand Elvira is like a huge cultural icon, so I get why she won. And I don't have like super strong feelings about this category. This next one though, I do kind of have strong feelings and I think that they're unpopular. So this is the best doll collab category. So we had the again, kind of like Wednesday show collab dolls, not the Skeletor ones, the Moa Lola Bratz dolls, the Kylie Jenner Bratz dolls, the Mean Girls Bratz dolls. This one was very Bratz heavy. And then the Blythe and Littlest Pet Shop dolls. And the Wednesday dolls did win. And I just don't vibe with that. I'm so sorry. It doesn't help that I haven't seen the show. Nothing that I saw about the show made me want to watch it, which like, again, it's not to say that you're a bad person or that I like dislike you if you like the show. That's chill. I just don't care. I don't care about it. And I feel like I don't tend to like Monster High dolls that look more human as much. I know that goes at odds with the fact that I'm obsessed with Cleo because she is objectively the most human looking Monster High character. Like, especially in Gen 1, she looks like a little bit more humanoid than she does with like her molded on wraps in G3. I understand that doesn't make sense. I don't know what to tell you. I'm so sorry. But like for the most part, I feel like I don't like Monster High dolls that look more human. Something about it, like something about seeing the mold and like the sculpts and everything, the Monster High style just feels like it should be monsters, duh. And so when it's human characters, it does feel very strange to me personally. So it doesn't help that I wasn't like interested in the IP that was collabing with this, but I also just don't like obviously Wednesday and Monster High, like that makes sense in my head. But just looking at it, I didn't love these dolls. I would have wanted to see the Moa Lola Bratz win because I think those were really interesting and really fun dolls. I do have the Jade and I love her very, very dearly. I'm not surprised that they didn't win because like I feel like that is vastly less popular. Like if it wasn't going to be the Wednesday, I feel like despite the launch, it would have been the Mean Girls collab. But I personally would have liked to have highlighted the Moa Lola dolls because I think they're gorgeous. 2 more categories to get through. I'm almost done yapping at y'all. So this next one was the best doll song, and the nominees were the like G3 Spectra theme song, the Rainbow High / Shadow High School Across the Street, Boo York, the Monster High Fright song, and then the Ever After High theme song. And this is another one where I fully don't have an opinion. The Fright song did win, which I think makes sense. I feel like out of these songs, it's probably the most iconic song. But to be honest, like I just, I think I've talked about this before on the channel. I listen to music in a really weird way. That's like the basic gist of it. I listen for like lyrics mostly. And most of these songs are kind of like gimmicky, kind of kitschy, and it's just not my vibe. Obviously, if you love them, that is super. But I don't dislike some of these, like the ones that I've heard, I think are fine. Because obviously I've heard the Monster High Fright song. I've heard Boo York. I think I've heard like snippets of the Rainbow High one, but literally none of them are songs that I would ever even consider adding to my like Spotify favorites. So yeah, no opinion from me. Good for Fright Song, I guess. And then the big one is the Doll of the Year, which is like kind of the most prestigious award to me. So the nominees were the G3 Caddy, Vampire Heart Draculaura, the Premier Gala Barbie, the Nightmare Before Christmas I Love You Forever doll, which was really out of left field to me, and then G3 Venus. Just to touch on that IOY doll again, that is so interesting to me. Not because I think it's like a heinous doll. Like I do think that there are some really interesting design elements there. It's just fascinating to me because I feel like maybe it's just the circles that I'm in online, because like I'm not as present in like Disney focused spaces. I didn't see like nearly as much love for that as all of the other nominees, so I was kind of surprised. But you know, it's fine. Like, good for them for making it onto the nominee list. They did not win. G3 Venus won, and I wholeheartedly agree with that. It was apparently like quite a narrow race. Almost came down to Vampire Heart Draculaura winning, and I do think that she would definitely be my second choice. But there's just something about G3 Venus that feels so like significant. She's such an unbelievably beautiful doll to me. I love her so much, and like especially for a playline level, like I just think that she is really exemplary. Her design overall is absolutely stunning, and she's who I voted for. So I felt so happy to see her get the recognition and get to take like the win for Doll of the Year. So good for Venus. I really truly do think she deserved it. I'm super happy she got it, because like as much as I do love Vampire Heart Draculaura, and like I understand that she's a collector doll, she's got more detail and everything, there's just something about Venus that like resonates emotionally. And so I really love her, and I'm really glad that she got to win. But yes, guys, that is going to be it for my thoughts on the 2024 Doll Award nominees and winners and all of that jazz. Thank you again to the person who suggested I do this, because I had an absolute blast going over all of like the categories and my thoughts on all of them. This was super fun to film, so I hope you guys also enjoyed it. I obviously want to hear all of your thoughts on the nominees and the winners in the comments down below. Like I'm definitely curious to see what your feelings are on all of this, but also please let me know if you want me to do this every year. I obviously haven't done it prior to this year because I didn't think about it. But if you liked this video, if you like me kind of going over the Doll Awards, I'm more than happy to make this like an annual thing for as long as the Doll Awards continue to go on and kind of give you my thoughts every year. So definitely let me know if that's something that you're interested in. But other than that, I'm going to wrap it up for today. This is actually my second video that I filmed today. My throat is dry. I'm tired, but I'm in a good mood. I hope you guys are as well. I hope you did enjoy today. I hope you have a lovely rest of your day or your night, whatever it might be, and that you are having a wonderful holiday season. And I will see you in the next one. Bye, guys.